a very good morning to you all. As per the schedule, today's topic is writing instructional objectives. So as per the training methodology syllabus, unit wise we are covering the topics through virtual classes. And today's topic is writing instructional objectives. Yesterday we were discussing about personality, and day before yesterday psychological theories and motivation and all we have discussed. And today's topic is writing instructional objectives for classroom instruction. So let us see, through the session you will be able to achieve the following statements. So the learning outcome will be, after completion of the session, you will be able to define instructional objectives, and you will be able to differentiate goal, aim, and objectives. There are three terms. It looks synonym to each other, but we must know the difference between goal, aim, and objectives. And you will be able to state some examples for goal, and some example for aim, and some example for objectives. And you will also be able to list the ambiguous statements of objectives. There are statements which we should not use while writing the objectives. So that statements let us see, and explain the ABCD and SMART approaches. There are some approaches or methods to be followed while writing the objectives. So one ABCD method is there. Let us see what is that ABCD method, and SMART method is there. Let us see what is that SMART method. And also you will be able to write objectives for your classroom instruction, for theory as well as for the practical. Then let us see in general, what is objective? See, objective is in general intended outcome and learning outcome. So for our syllabus, see our syllabus, we have already discussed the under the analysis of syllabus chapter. Our syllabus is based on NSTI framework, National Skill Qualification Framework. It is an output-based syllabus, and starting from the curriculum, syllabus, and the training materials, and the reference books, even testing, evaluation, and certification, everything is followed by NSTI framework only. And this NSTI framework is output-based. So this learning outcome, whatever we will write for the lesson plan or demonstration plan, or even general course objective, will be based on the learning outcome. So let us learn today how to write the learning outcomes, or how to write the instructional objectives systematically without any ambiguity. So the general meaning for the objectives are intended outcome and the learning outcome. See, there are two types of learning outcome. One is for the general course, and the other one is for the specific instructional process. That may be an individual lesson or an individual demonstration. For a general course, it will be a general objective or the general learning outcome. And after successful completion of the course, a trainee will be able to perform, or will be able to become as a competent instructor, or will be able to become as an electronic mechanic or a programming assistant. These are all general objectives or general outcome of an individual for the course. So for the course, we can name it as a general objective, and the general objective will be after successful completion of the course, the learner will be able to achieve some aspects. That will be general objective. And the specific objective for the lesson, for an individual lesson, will be after teaching of the lesson, the learner will be able to achieve the learning specific outcome of the learning. Specific outcome of the learning is the learning objective or the instructional objective. And let us see, as per the educational explanation, the dictionary of education, what the learning objective is defined is an intended outcome of an instruction. This has been stated by one Norman Gronlund, who lived in US. He is a great educationist and testing, evaluation, assessment expert, Mr. Norman Gronlund. So in his view, the instructional objectives are defined as intended outcome of an instruction. So, and also one more definition, set of specific learning outcomes. So specific learning outcomes only instructional objectives, which we are going to use in the lesson plan as well as in the demonstration plans. and also called learning objectives, learning outcome, and course outcome. These are the synonyms for instructional objectives. Then one more definition for instructional objective is learning objectives must be specific, it should be measurable and short-term and observable learner behaviors. So observable learner behaviors are we will imitate, we will demonstrate, and we'll ask them to imitate. And if they perform well, then they have achieved the particular task in skill. As well as in the theory also, we will explain the, we will transfer the knowledge which is related to the particular topic, theory topic. Then after completion of the topic, what the learners will be able to achieve. So that is the observable behavior of the learners. So these are the general definitions for instructional objectives. Let us see the difference with the goal, aim, and objectives. See, if you see, it is very interesting to know the difference between aim, goal, and objectives. I like to share one interesting thing. And that is, if we go to Word, Microsoft Word, and type goal, okay? What we will do if we want to see the synonym for a word, we'll type and just right click, then we'll see the synonym. You see goal, what is there? Objective, aim is there, and so many other terms also there, and objective, aim for goal. And you see, you type aim and you see the synonym for aim, you can see, plan, and even goal, objective, and all. And for objective, you see, aim, goal will be there. Aim, you see, and goal also there. So the three terms or three words are, showing synonym to each other. So it is not synonym to each other. Why? Because that is our topic. We'll see that. Because we'll always feel that goal, aim, and objectives are synonym to each other. So it is not like that as per the dictionary of education. So let us see what is goal and what is aim and what is objectives, and what is the difference with each term, and with some examples. So let us see what is goal. Goals are broad. Goals are broader term, and they are broad, generalized statements about what is to be learned. And educational goals are general aim or purpose of education stated as a long range outcome to work towards. So goals are broader terms in a generalized statement about what is to be learned. So many things has to be learned, and so many tasks will be there to be completed. And educational goals also set up, and that has to be achieved properly in a systematic manner. So goals are broad and sometimes difficult to measure directly. So for example, objectives are intended outcome. In the outcome, in an achievable manner, we will write the statement. So we can measure that. So after teaching of the particular lesson, the learners will be able to achieve what and all they will learn. So there we can measure the ability, the knowledge of an individual. If it is a practical skill, and we will be able to measure the practical skill of an individual. But goals are broader term, that's why it's not possible to directly measure. And for example, the right of children to free and compulsory education is the main goal of Right to Education Act. So there are so many acts are there introduced by our government, and Right to Education is one of the acts. So for example, goal under Right to Education Act is the right of children to free and compulsory education. So free and compulsory education is one of the important goals of Right to Education Act. So this is one goal, that is a broader term, broad ambition, you can say. Then one more example, in instructor training, the trainees develop attitude to become a competent instructor. So to become as a competent instructor, what are the skills, knowledge required, and what are the changes of attitude required? So everything is broader term. So these are all goals. So I hope you understood the definition for goal and with some examples. Let us see what is aim. Aim is the general declaration of intent that gives direction to the program. So it is an intention. So what we have in our mind, that is aim, intention, and how we will achieve, that is the objective. So let us see the definition for aim. The purpose of the aim is to draw attention to the training being provided and communicating the intention to a target group that will include learners, management, and audience. So management will be there, learners will be there, even other participants even audience will be there. So we have to draw the attention by telling our aim. So this is our intention, this is our aim of the training program. It may be the short-term training program, or it may be the long-term training program. So drawing the attention of the learners or management or any other participants is called aim. So aim is the intention. And for example, to train the clerical staff in using latest application software, that is one of the aims. And one more aim, example for aim, to develop proficiency in the basic skills of reading and writing. So to develop some proficiency and to train the clerical staff, these are all intentions. That is the example. I hope you might have understood the difference between goal and aim. Let us see the objective. So objective is a point which one aims at reaching after a certain amount of learning experience. So objective after certain amount of time, after learning something, after gaining some information, or after gaining some knowledge, or after gaining some skill experience, then we will be able to achieve, the learner will be able to achieve. That is the objective. So instructional objective is a set of specific learning outcomes. So instructional objectives are statements with a few specific learning outcomes. So these are the objectives which we are going to write in the lesson, every lesson. In the beginning of the lesson, you see the reference book, any reference book you see, CTS or CITS, it starts with the objectives. So the learner will be able to achieve what are their learning outcome. So that will be more specific and time bound, precisely written, achievable manner. And for example, the trainees will be able to name the parts of a personal computer system. So the basics we are teaching about the computer software, hardware, and the parts of the computer means after that particular class, what the learners will be able to achieve, they will be able to name the parts. You see the achievement. So the goal is different, broader term, broad ambition, and the aim is the intention and gaining the attention of the participants, the learners or the management, and the objective will be achieving point of view, what the learner will be able to achieve. So the instructional objective statement should be outcome based. So the trainee will be able to name the parts of the system, or the assistant will be able to list out the principles of noting and drafting after teaching the procedures of noting and the procedures of drafting. So these are the examples which will make you to understand about the differences. Again, one more very interesting example for differentiate aim and objective. Aim is defined as an answer to the question of the type, what for a program of personality development undertaken. See, one program we are conducting, maybe a short-term course, or maybe a topic in a short-term course, personality development. So what for the program? What is the importance of the program? That will be, the answer will be your aim. And let us see the objective. Objective as an answer to the question of the type, what will be achieved if the program is completed. You can see the underlined words. What for the program, that answer will be your aim, and what will be achieved through the program will be your objective. The answer for this question will be your objective. Hope you can understand very easily, because the example is such a manner given. So the difference with the aim and objectives are the intention, aim, the intended outcome or the learning outcome will be the objective. So next we will see the difference, one visual which I made for goal and aim and objective. You see, goal is broader term, broad ambition, and aim is set the target, and objective is achieving the target. You see, one person is dreaming that I will win a gold medal or a prize in an event. That is his broad ambition. For that he need to practice a lot. Then after practicing, one day he will participate in the event, and he is aiming. He has the intention to achieve that. That is his aim. And in the middle picture, we will show you aiming the target. And the third picture you can see, he has achieved the target. So achieve the target is the objective. So I hope though the three terms are looking synonym to each other, goal, aim, and objective in the dictionary meaning, we have seen the dictionary for goal, aim, and objective is there, for aim, goal, and objective is there, for objective, aim, and goal is there, which is not actually synonym to each other. There are differences with these three terms. And the goal to become a professional tailor or fashion designer. Few more examples for goal and aim, objectives. To become a professional tailor or a fashion designer, that will be the goal. And aim, to teach or to learn stitching of a garment. So stitching of garment, I have to learn, and garment stitching, I want to teach. These are the aim. Our intention is our aim. And objectives, how we can write objectives. After teaching of this, what they will be able to achieve, what the participant or learner will be able to achieve. Take proper measurement, draft paper pattern, cut the material, and stitch the garment. So these are the process involved in designing a garment. For fashion design or garment designers or dressmaking trade teachers will follow this procedure: taking measurement, drafting the paper pattern, and cutting the material, stitching the garment. How we are writing the statements, you please observe. One, take proper measurement. After successful completion of the demonstration or the theory class, they will be able to take measurement. They will be able to draft paper pattern. They will be able to cut the material, and also they will be able to stitch the garment. You see that these are all indented outcome. So outcome based statements are our instructional objectives. So with that very simple examples, you might have understood. And some importance of objectives. What is the importance of objectives? Even objectives are also called as learning outcome. So clearly defined objectives would not only help the teachers and learners to understand what exactly they are supposed to do, but also provide the means for evaluating their own achievements. So we have discussed very detailedly in plan your lesson topic what are the advantages of lesson plan for an instructor and also for the trainees. So we have seen so many advantages. It will be an evidence or document for an instructor, and it will be easy for an instructor to impart training, theory training in any time, any day, any time, if they have prepared a lesson plan. And if they have a prepared demonstration plan, they can conduct the practical demonstrations at any day, any time, because they have well prepared and they are having the plan with them. And apart from the trainees and trainers advantage, and also for evaluating purpose, it is very easy because we have the aim with us, we have the intended outcome with us, and it is also easy to evaluate the performance of the trainees and also our own performance. We can see as per the plan, this much portions completed, and as per the monthly schedule, this much portions has been completed because we have plan with us. So in the plan, very important items are the instructional objectives or learning outcome of the particular lesson, theory lesson or practical skill. And the statement of objective is therefore expected to be specific, observable, and presented in operational terms. What is this operational term? That is, using verb, that is action word. Let us see what is action word. In Hindi, kriya is the term for verb. So a verb is action word. So how to use the action words for writing the achievable statement, that is the instructional objectives. Let us see some examples. So before discussing about the achievable statements, some ambiguous statements are there. Ambiguous means which will lead the trainee, even trainer, confusing. No clear. There is no clear specific or statement in that. There is no clear information in that. So that is called ambiguous statements. So we should avoid these ambiguous statements while writing the objectives. The success of the teaching process depends on stating specific learning outcome. That is the objective. So the success of the teaching learning process depends on the specifically what we are planning and what we are mentioning in the plan, lesson plan or demonstration plan. and we are specifically mentioning that statements. So the success of the teaching process, the class, the theory class or practical demonstration will depends on the, whatever the statements which we are mentioning with the achievable terms. So the learning outcome or the objective statement should not make any ambiguity. So because the success of the class, the theory class or the practical class depends on our objectives. So it should not have any ambiguity. It should not have any confusions. How to write the terms without any confusions, without ambiguity? Let us see. So words representing either vague or ambiguous concepts that cannot be precisely measured must be avoided. So we have learned that objectives are intended outcome or learning outcome, and it should be measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. And we should, while using the terms achievable, realistic, then how come we use the ambiguous terms sometimes by mistake, or sometimes all the words are not measurable. See, word itself, action, verb itself, action, word, but all the verbs are not measurable. Let us see some interesting terms. Ambiguous statements. See, knows, know is a verb, that is action word, but it is not measurable. And understand is a verb, but it is not measurable. Appreciate, grasp, enjoys, and believes. All these terms are you can say verbs, that is action word, but that is not measurable. So all these verbs should be avoided. All these words should be avoided while writing the instructional objectives. Some examples for the ambiguous statements. See, understand, have knowledge, appreciate, knows, and all not measurable, but they are also, though they are verbs, action words, but it is not measurable. Let us see. Learners will understand the objective. If we write the statement, that is the learning outcome or the instructional objectives like this, learners will understand the subject or the topic or the objective means what they will understand. We have to specifically mention what they will understand. After teaching of the lesson, what they will be able to achieve, that we have to specifically mention, whether they will define that, whether they will explain that, whether they will tell the types, whether they will write that, design that, draft it, cut, copy, paste. We have to use that term in a measurable manner. One more example, the trainee will have knowledge about photocopier. For secretarial practice or office assistant related trades, even computer trades also, we will demonstrate how to use the photocopier. So after demonstrating the particular skill, we should, we should ask the trainees, you demonstrated, you show how to use that. I have demonstrated, you observed, now you show how to use the photocopier. Like that we will ask. So when writing the statement, we should not write the trainee will have the knowledge. This trainee has knowledge and they have knowledge. Like that, we cannot tell what knowledge they have gained, whether it is zoom in or zoom out, or keeping the papers inside, or opening the photocopier equipment, or so many things are there. Changing the cartridge, so many things are involved, so many skills are involved, and so many different knowledges are gained. Particularly, we have to mention what are the parts of photocopier. The trainee, after demonstrating the skill about the photocopier, how to take photocopies and how to zoom in or increase the size or decrease the size, so many things we have taught them, and that and all specifically mentioned. They will explain, they will identify the parts, and they can increase the size, and they can take photocopy by using A4 size paper, A3 size paper. Like that, specifically we have to mention. So, but if we mention they will have the knowledge about that, that is ambiguity. That statement will have ambiguous statement. It will not be clear one. And the trainees will appreciate the benefit of yoga. So yoga is also a very important topic. Sometimes along with soft skills, we will teach yoga to the trainees. So after completion of the yoga class, they will be able to appreciate the benefit. If that is the statement, then what is appreciation? What is appreciation actually? That is not measurable. So after the session, they will be able to perform Surya Namaskar. They will be perform, inhale, how to inhale properly, how to exhale properly, and all. If we mention inhale is action word, exhale is action word, perform is action word. So we have to use the statements by mentioning the action verbs properly. If we write appreciate the demonstration, and they understand and they have the knowledge and all, which is not measurable, that is not proper. And the trainee knows stitching. After demonstrating how to stitch the garment, after giving lecture about stitching, types of stitches and all, then if we write the statement as knows, they know, they, after that they know stitching, then how much they know? What are the limits of knowing? Do they know measuring or drafting or cutting, stitching? We have to specifically mention what they know, what they learned. So these are the terms: understand, have, know, appreciate, knows. Though they are verbs, but that is not measurable. So we should be very careful when writing the instructional objectives. And let us see, these ABCD method or SMART methods are not in your syllabus, our training methodology syllabus. We are using, of course, the SMART method, but ABCD method is not there when it has been introduced and who has introduced and all. But to learn about this, to know about all these things are some interesting one. That's why I would like to share with you. There is a method called ABCD method, and one more method is SMART, SMART method. To write the objectives. Let us see what is ABCD method. A stands for audience, B stands for behavior, and C stands for condition, and D stands for degree. So A is audience, B is behavior, C is condition, and D is degree. How this A, B, C, D and all used when writing the instructional objectives? Let us see. One example. The participants of a workshop will be able to write instructional objectives with measurable verbs properly without ambiguity. This is one statement. It may be a quite lengthy statement. We can write shorter statements also. For better understanding, I made like this. We are conducting a workshop. It may be a 3-day workshop, or also 1-day workshop, where you have tasks to complete it and skills to demonstrate. And this workshop, we are making them to write the instructional objectives or learning outcomes properly. So after completion of that, what is the achievement? What they will achieve? The participants of the workshop will be able to write instructional objectives with measurable verbs properly without ambiguity. You see the colors, different colors I made. And A is audience. Who will achieve that? Who are the beneficiaries? So A is audience, we know. B is behavior, C is condition, and D is the degree. And what is the behavior? Right. So they will be able to write is the behavior, and C, condition, is measurable verbs. They will be able to write instructional objectives with measurable verbs, the condition, and properly without ambiguity. So without ambiguity is the degree. So without any mistakes, without any ambiguity, very systematically, that and on degree. So in the statement we can find the audience and the behavior, the condition and the degree. The participants are audience, and the right, the action is the behavior, and the measurable verbs are the condition. Without ambiguity is the degree. And one more example, one simple example. He will be able to type 40 words per minute without error. So a computer operator or a DTP operator or a secretarial practice trainee, we will train them in typing with systems. So some trainees will type faster and some trainees may be slower. And one trainee, with the proper practice, she or he will be able to type 40 words per minute. So this we are writing as a statement, as a learning outcome or instructional objectives by using this ABCD method. So how we can do? He will be able to type 40 words per minute without error. So this A is who? The trainee, the participant. So A is he will be able to, the green color you see, green color is behavior, B. Behavior is the action, typing. In the previous one, writing, write is the behavior, and here type is the behavior, and 40 words per minute is the condition, and without error is the degree. So these are the examples you will understand very well with the help of these examples, the ABCD approach. Then let us see the SMART approach. This we are using for our training methodology, writing lesson plans and demonstration plans very detailedly with so many examples we have already discussed in the previous classes. Let us again see some of the examples. Specific is, S stands for specific, M stands for measurable, A stands for achievable, R stands for realistic, and T is time bound. So specific means should specify what they want to achieve. After teaching of the lesson or after demonstrating the skill, what they will be able to achieve, we have to specify that. Then measurable, able to measure whether you are meeting the objectives or not. Achievable are the objectives you set achievable or not. Realistic, can you realistically achieve the objective with the resource you have? That one. And time, when do you want to achieve the set objectives? When do you want to set the objectives? For example, the previous example we have seen, 40 words per minute. He will be able to type a document 40 words per minute. That is the achievable. If we write 80 words per minute, it's not possible. 100 words per minute if we write, that is not at all possible. So that is not realistic. We have to write the statement in a realistic manner. And time bound, 120 minutes or 100 minutes is not possible. Even physical education, an instructor who is training the participants or students in running or jumping and all. So for running, after rigorous practice, the individual, he will be able to run 14 seconds per 100 meters in 14 seconds. That is possible. If we say 6 seconds, means it is not at all possible because it is not realistic, and the world record itself, nearly 9 seconds. So it's not possible and it's not realistic. It is not, time bound. So we have to consider all these aspects. It should be specific, it should be measurable, it should be achievable, and it should be realistic, and it should be time bound. So by considering all these aspects, I have some examples for few traits that we will see now. Interesting. And one more interesting topic which we have discussed a few days before is the taxonomy of educational objectives. Who has introduced, Benjamin Bloom and his team introduced the taxonomy of educational objectives in the year 1956 and all detailedly we have discussed. Now we see that cognitive domain, affective domain, psychomotor domain and all, which is related to the knowledge, attitude and skill. We are going to write, or we are going to prepare for lesson plan knowledge and for demonstration plan skill related statements, that is instructional objectives. And these cognitive, affective, psychomotor domains will guide us to choose the educational activities related to knowledge, skill and attitude. Because the domains are called as the taxonomy of educational objectives. So in any educational activity which is related to the knowledge, which is related to the skill, or it may be related to the attitude development. So this taxonomy of educational objectives are used. And let us see for each domain how these terms are used, how these action related performance statements are applied. Some of the activities or actions related to these three domains are listed below. For cognitive domain, actions related to these three domains. For cognitive domain, you see cite, define. See, after teaching of that particular theory class, it may be introduction to network, or introduction to Java programming, or introduction to types of sewing machine, types of thread, types of needles, or it may be a rectifier, types of rectifier, whatever it may be. After teaching that particular theory topic, they will be able to cite, they will be able to define, they will be able to describe, name, recite, recognize, modify, rectify, etc. So all these citing, defining, describing, reciting, naming, and all related to the cognitive domain. That is the knowledge. So whatever knowledge they have gained, an individual gained, it should be recalled. It should be the transfer of knowledge should be recalled so that the achievement of the teaching process will be completed. So we will understand that. So they have understood very well like that. So the cognitive domain or knowledge-based related actions are, the terms are site defined. So many things are even explain, differentiate, distinguish, and all we can use for knowledge to write the statements related to knowledge theory. Then affective domain, you see, realize, behave, cooperate, accept, characterize, customize, organize, etc. See, affective domain statements we are not using much in our lesson plan or demonstration plan, because lesson plan is most of the lesson plan knowledge related topics are related to knowledge, and the action verbs are related to only knowledge, not attitude. And skill which we are imparting for practical demonstrations are related to psychomotor. So this the psychomotor domain, she will be able to write the statement, or he will be able to repair the machine, and type, run, jump, stitch, pull, push, remove, operate, etc. These terms are related to skill. So physical activity. So performance, physical performance. So writing, repairing, typing, and all verbs or action words which is related to skill or psychomotor domain. So these three terms are three domains, and the terms action oriented terms which are used for writing the instructional objectives. And you see some exercises after this. We have 10 more minutes. Another 5 minutes, I will show you some exercises. You please observe, and otherwise if you have any rough book, you note down. Then after 5 minutes, I will ask you, our host, our admin will allow you to speak. So that time you can interact with me and tell the answers for those exercises. If you have any doubts or any clarifications, you can do that. So let us see. You have 4 terms or 4 verbs, 4 action words: describe, list, adjust, operate. You tell me which domain it belongs to, knowledge related or skill related. Mark the following terms whether the action word or verb dealing with knowledge or skill. So I have written here describe and list, adjust, operate. Out of these 4 terms, which are verb, which verb or which word is related to skill or related to knowledge? You have to write. You noted? Okay, fine. Then next, see, 15 words are there, or 15 verbs are there, which is measurable, which is not measurable. Look at the following words and identify which are measurable, which are not measurable. See, know, state, describe, understand, compare, really appreciate, believe, grasp, type, select, familiar with, stitch, aware of, differentiate, and walk. So these 15 terms are there, or 15 verbs are there, or 15 words are there. Verbs are action word. So you have to mention from 1 to 15 which are all measurable, which are not measurable. You please see all the words and tell me. Hope you are noting down. Which is measurable, which is not measurable. Again, we'll come back. And I told you some of the action-oriented or measurable terms which are used to write the instructional objectives. These are examples for instructional objectives. How to write the instructional objectives systematically for the classroom instruction. That is our session. So today's session is writing instructional objectives for classroom instruction. It may be a theory or it may be a practical. For secretarial practice related trade, You see, draft a business letter, type a business letter, state the parts of a business letter, list the importance of a business letter, set the margin in a document, and create a file. So these are the terms, like this, so many statements are there which you can write according to your lesson. So draft, you see the first word, draft, type, state, list, set, and create. These words are measurable. So the objective is clear. The learning outcome is good. Let us see the next trait for motor mechanic. Define radiator, describe the constructional features of radiator, state the necessity of a pressure cap, list out the causes of engine overheating, write the remedies of engine overheating, tell the necessity of the air cleaner, draw air filter assembly. You can see no, understand, and all not there, because that is not measurable. These are all measurable terms: define, describe, state, list out, write, and all. And you see electronics related trait, identify the components, define DC motor, differentiate between AC and DC motor, list the uses of circuit breaker, and explain the working principle of DC motor, and sketch the diagram of the transformer or transistor, whatever it may be. You see the first word, identify, define, differentiate, list, explain, sketch. So these terms are measurable, achievable. And related to computer trade, you see, boot the system, reboot the system, load a software, remove a software, move the cursor, block the information, select the data, create a data, enter the data, scroll the page. The statement may be short, but every statement started with an action verb. Boot, reboot, load, remove, move, block, select, create, enter, and scroll. So these are the statements. So thank you for understanding the subject properly. And now the time for asking you about the exercise. So 2 exercises I have given. So let us see. Now I request the admin please unmute the mic, and so that they can answer to these 2 exercises. This is one. Which term is related to knowledge, which term is related to skill. The other one is measurable, not measurable verbs. So with that, today's objectives, all the objectives, starting from what is, defining instructional objectives, and defining what is ambiguous statement, and what are the ambiguous statements, examples for ambiguous statements, then, action verbs, ABCD method, audience, behavior, condition, degree, then SMART method, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic. See, whenever I name some method, I name some educationist or psychologist, I will also refer their name and which country they belong to and which year they lived, like that. So this Norman Gronlund he's an educationist, I told you, and he belonged to United States, 1922 to 2010, he lived 90 years. And he has been considered as the great educational expert for assessment, testing, and evaluation. And this Peter Ferdinand Drucker, 1954, he only introduced the term SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic. He's a great management expert, like management guru in United States. This Peter Ferdinand Drucker is considered as the management expert, management guru, and he only introduced in 1954 in his research, and he has also published the book in his research, and he has introduced that SMART approach first. And for the management, people are goal setting by using the SMART approach, and we are also using the SMART approach for writing the instructional objectives. That is our learning outcome for the course and also for the specific lesson. So will you please answer to these 2 exercises? Hello, admin, please unmute. First exercise is the verb is related to knowledge or skill. And the second exercise is the verbs are measurable or not measurable. Measurable means which are the verbs, and non-measurable, not measurable is which are the verbs.
So you will be taking some more time?
No, sir, 5 minutes. You please unmute the audio. I have given 2 exercises and now they will answer for that. Please unmute the.
Sir, if I unmute everyone, it will be a chaos. So
few, at least for few.
You can do it, sir. You can do it if you want. You feel like.
I can. Okay. I thought. Okay. Yeah. Ritu, Raj, or anybody. Anyone, please unmute. See, I'm trying. It's not unmuting. I think.
Okay, sir. I'll
unmute few, sir. Unmute two, 1 or 2. So only 2 exercises are there. Unmute 2 person. It's very interesting.
Sir, actually, I have disabled.
Hello. Hello, sir.
Yes, madam.
For the first exercise, describe is knowledge,
Very
list
good.
is knowledge,
Very
adjust
good.
is the skill, and
Very good.
operate is the skill.
Very good. Very good, madam. Very good.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So these 4 words, 2 related to knowledge and 2 related to skill. Very good. And this one, you please, anyone else can try, which is measurable and which is not measurable. Yes, madam.
No, I want to say the answer. The no is non-measurable.
Yes, correct.
It is measurable.
Yes.
Describe is measurable.
Yes.
Understand is non-measurable.
Yes.
Compare is, I think, sir, I'm not sure.
Not measurable.
Measurable.
Not measurable.
Compare.
Not measurable.
Yes, sir, measurable. Compare is measurable. Really appreciate is
Non-measurable.
Believe is, sir, non-measurable.
Yes.
Grasp is, sir, non-measurable. Type is measurable. Select is, sir, I think
Measurable. Measurable.
And familiar with is
Not measurable. Not measurable.
is measurable. Aware of is, sir,
Not
non-measurable. Differentiate is measurable. Bulk is also measurable.
Also measurable.
Yeah, very good. Thank you for your answers. And some terms are giving difficult. Why? Because the basic principle is measurable means in what way it will measure. So the no is not measurable because how much they know it's not measurable, correct? State is measurable. They will be able to define, or state means we will say this is measurable. And describe also knowledge. They will describe knowledge, measurable. Understand means how much they will understand. So that is not measurable, correct? And compare means this and that they will compare. Compare the 2 components, they will compare. So it is measurable. And really appreciate means they will appreciate how much, to what extent they will appreciate, that is not there. So it is not measurable. And believe, how much they believe, that is not measurable. And grasp also, how much they will grasp, that is not measurable. And type means typing. This, 1 page they will type, 2 pages they will type means measurable. And select also it's measurable. And familiar with means how much they are familiar with the language, how much they are familiar with the city, it's not measurable. Stitch means they can perform, they can stitch, it's measurable. And aware of, how much they are aware about that, that's not measurable. And differentiate, like compare, this also measurable. And walk also, she will be able to walk, it's measurable. Yes. So whatever you have answered is very good. I'm very happy.
And compare.
Not measurable. Yes.
Hello.
Compare is measurable. Compare is measurable. Understand is not measurable. Yes, madam.
Okay,
Yes.
sir. Hello.
Compare is measurable. Understand is not measurable. Yes. So with that, we aimed to achieve all these objectives. That is, define instructional objectives and differentiate the goal, aim, and objectives. Goal is the broad ambition. Aim is the intention, and objective is the intended outcome. And some statements for examples for goal, aim, and objectives we learned.
Hello.
And list the ambiguous statements also we have learned. Yes, madam. Yes. Any doubt? And ABCD approach means what? Some with example, and smart approach means what? Some with some examples, and writing
hello.
objectives for classroom instruction. Yeah, please. Everything.
Can I get your number, sir, please?
Madam, उसमें है ना that in the message it is there. Email, phone number, everything is there.
Okay, actually I was not having that. That's why I'm asking.
What is your name?
Archana Mane, sir.
I will see, or you can note 94489
4
94489
Huh?
05201.
Okay, sir. I'll repeat 94489052501.
No, 5201. 15, single 5.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. So, any other doubts, clarifications? As per the plan, we have completed successfully the session, how to write the instructional objectives. It is very much useful for the teachers and the instructors who are involving, imparting knowledge and skill. Anybody else?
So only thing is that when we use this in our pattern of NSQF syllabus,
Yes.
we have to use it as per the levels given, level 1, level 2, level 3,
Yes.
as per the Bloom's taxonomy.
No, our NSQF level is different. We have 5 domains are there as per NSQF. For all 5 domains, different levels are there. And this domain, cognitive psychology, cognitive affective psychomotor domains are 3 domains for Bloom's, that is related to knowledge, skill, and attitude. So one presentation I have given and compared with the NSQF levels, you can kindly go through that.
Okay, sir. I'll get through that.
Yeah, please. Yes, please.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Any other doubts, clarifications?
Hello.
Huh, madam.
Sir, in demonstration plan, it is said that only one objective we have to write.
No, one skill, the one particular skill will have so many tasks. So all the tasks can be written as objectives. So at least, 4 objectives we should have. Minimum 2 to 4 objectives we should have.
In demonstration plan.
Demonstration, one job will be there. One skill will be there. To demonstrate the skill, to perform the skill, we may have so many tasks. So all the tasks can be written as objectives. For which trade you belong to? कौन सा trade है आप? मैं अभी बता दूंगा.
Sir, actually, I am having trainees of dressmaking and architecture.
Okay, fine. See, dressmaking trade है ना? She will be able to stitch the garment. See, A-line frock is one demonstration. Okay, so in that measure and make paper pattern and stitch the garment. So 3 objectives you can have. For practical also, measure and make paper pattern and stitch the garment, stitch the frock. So 3 you can have in practical demonstration also. It is for our own benefit. So for the teacher's benefit. Yes. Yes, next.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Welcome. Next, please.
Hello. Sir.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Please.
Hello.
सर.
हाँ जी.
सर, क्या आपका जो स्टडी मटेरियल है पीडीएफ प्रोवाइड कर सकते हैं सर मेल पे या?
After this presentation, every day I am sending this PowerPoint presentations, and for this theory lesson plan, demonstration plan models I have sent. And theory book, you have theory training methodology book.
Yeah.
So in that also you can find the objectives very clearly.
But sir, जिस आप PPT से पढ़ा रहे हैं वो अगर मैं चाहते हैं this is better.
Yeah. I will send within half an hour. I will send it to your respective groups. CATS teachers are I'm sharing with the teachers, and you can share with them. Even individuals also.
Individual TO को सर सेंड कर दीजिए, वो अपने ब्रांच में उसमें सेंड कर देंगे.
Yeah, sure. I will send please.
Hello.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, madam.
Sir, one more thing is there. In demonstration, it is said that one skill to be taught at one time, na?
Yeah. That is correct. Yeah, that is absolutely correct.
एक demonstration sir कितने time का होना चाहिए?
See,
One
theory
week.
lesson for theory practice teaching, I always suggest people 20 minutes to 30 minutes for theory. For demonstration, you can take your own time. It may be 1 hour, it may be 2 hours, or it may be 1.5 hours. It is up to your demonstration. So for demonstration, there is no time restriction. For theory, there is a time restriction because your theory teaching should not be too long for a particular class. Demonstration can be 1 hour, more than 1 hour, or 2 hours also.
नहीं सर, जो ट्रेनी से करवा के लेना है ना डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन प्लान.
Yeah. For that you can see, you can make the trainees to draft. You know, all the trainees can draft, and you can see one by one. You can see the procedure, what they are doing, like that.
हाँ, वो कितने टाइम का होना चाहिए सर?
That actual time. It depends on your all. It all depends on your topic, your skill.
Okay.
As per your convenient. आपकी मर्जी है वो.
Okay.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
हाँ जी.
Sir, what is the fixation phase at autonomous phase?
Autonomous fixation.
Yes, sir.
Autonomous learner is a person who learn every time, no age limit, no place limit, anytime, anywhere, always learning. That is autonomous state.
Okay.
And
Sir.
fixed learning is you should go to the class and you should attend the particular class, and the particular subject is fixed learning in general. I'm telling in general. And you tell me later which portion or which unit you have doubt. I will clarify you separately.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Anji.
Hello, sir. What is means ABCD? Please repeat again.
See, I'll tell you, ABCD is one approach, like smart approach. This has been introduced by National Special Media Institute, which is in United States. And this has been introduced in 1970 by National Special Media Institute in US. They have introduced first time. So ABCD is an approach. See, so many approaches are there, like smart approach, and so many other educational experts also introduced so many approaches. The most famous and interesting is smart approach, which we are following it. ABCD is one more approach. A stands for audience, B stands for behavior, C stands for condition, and D stands for degree. You have seen that. With the example I have shown you, again I will show you. This one, ABCD approach. A is audience, he will be able to type 40 words per minute without error. So B is condition, B is behavior, C is condition, and D is degree. So audience, behavior, condition, degree is the ABCD approach. Anybody?